welcome back to Mr. Tilley's Math Magics. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at index notation. Now, more specifically, we're going to be looking at representing index notation as repeated multiplication, and back the other way, representing repeated multiplication as index notation. Now, if you need to pause the video to copy down the example, please do. It'll help you as you move along and get further in through this content. So when you were in primary school, you would have noticed that one of the shortcuts to addition very quickly became the idea of multiplication, and it went quite simply 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. That repeated addition of the same value was able to be shortened down to 1 times 4, and we see here these both equal the same. Believe it or not, index notation is not far off that. And let's figure that out right now. So, repeated multiplication is when we have something like 2 times 2 times 2, and we just keep multiplying by the same value. Now, if we work this out, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16. Therefore, 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. Well, this is a really long way to represent this, and we come up to the same problem that we had with our repeated addition. So the other way we can shorten this is we can say we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the same value there. So we can say 2 to the power of 4. And that right there is how we represent our repeated multiplication in index notation. Now, going back the other way and representing index notation as repeated multiplication is very similar. It's exactly the same. So let's bring this over here, and we're going to go 3 to the power of 5. Well, what we see here is that our index, or our exponent, is 5. That means we are going to multiply our base number here by itself, being 3 in this case, 5 times. So it's going to be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. As you can see there, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have multiplied 3 by itself 5 times, and therefore we have 3 to the power of 5. Now, going either way, that's how we actually represent repeated multiplication over here as index notation, and how we represent index notation as repeated multiplication. So I tell you what, why don't we give one or two a go right here while we're practicing? And what I want you to do, pause the video once we're finished, and I want you to represent 5 to the power of 6 as repeated multiplication. And I also want you to go ahead and represent 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. I want you to represent this repeated multiplication in index notation. So pause the video and we'll see how you go. Okay, so from here, this 5 to the power of 6 should have come out looking something like this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we've multiplied 5 by itself. And over here, 2 to the power of 6. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we've multiplied 2 by itself. So here we have our example of index notation in repeated multiplication form. And here we have our repeated multiplication in index notation form. From here, I'll bet your teacher's got some really good examples of this for you to practice a little bit more of, to really cement this in your mind. As always, bring any questions you have into class. Definitely raise your hand and ask them. Your teacher has a world of knowledge on this and will be happy to help you out. As always, I will see you next time.